Okay, so for this assignment, we're going to make the jump from what we did in the spreadsheet to writing an equation. Okay, so as we write this equation, we're going to then see the connection between the work we did in the spreadsheet and an equation. All right. And the idea is that for this in-class assignment, we're going to go to the GeoGebra calculator. So if you look at the assignment, we go to the calculator here. What we're going to do is we're going to write in up here an expression that's very similar to what we did, with the spreadsheet. But instead of referring to the number as being in a column in a location, we're just going to use x. Okay? And we're going to see how this works. Right? So we're going to say, well, for our coffee, let's see what we had at first. So at first we just had 2x. Okay? And you can see we have that nice equation, right? So this was when we didn't care about how much. Okay, so we can zoom in a little bit, and here's a nice. Okay, so 1 cup of coffee costs 2, 2 cups of coffee costs 4. Okay, so we've got that, and then the other thing that we had was we could sell those lattes. And so the x was how many cups did we sell, and we just multiply that by 5. Okay. And you can see then the blue line is steeper. That was what we had, right? But then, so, you know, that wasn't really expressing the full situation. So then we added the fact that we had to buy a coffee maker. So we had to buy a coffee maker that cost us 100. And we changed that top one. So notice how we were able to change that top one. And we don't see it anymore. Did it disappear? No, it didn't. So now if we zoom out, we see that that line is just so low that it doesn't appear there, right? So that line goes through. So what is this? This is the y-axis. This is the 0 axis, the x-axis. So the y-axis, that is when x is 0, then our value, it's going to be there. So in other words, when we sold no coffee, we're down here at minus 100. Well, oh, but is that the right one? Yeah, so that's the right one. And then remember, we had this other one, which was we had a latte machine. We could make $5 per latte, but we have to subtract 2,000. So once we do, that number disappears as well. So we say, well, what do we have to do to find that? And we just have to zoom out a little bit. And so we see that that line, that blue line, it goes all the way down to 2,000, right? So at 2,000, it intersects that y-axis. Well, isn't that great, right? So what do we get to see? We get to see, so let's see if we can make this happen. So we get to see that, oh, there is we break even at 50 when we're selling $2 cups, paying off our $100 coffee maker. And look at this guy. So, so there we are when we start out at minus 2,000. Oh, but when we get to 400, we've sold 400 lattes. We have enough money to pay off that fancy coffee maker, the espresso maker that we bought. But look at what else GeoGebra gives us. It says, where is it exactly equal? In other words, is there an amount of cups of coffee or latte sold in which both solutions produce, both the coffee maker or the espresso maker, you'll end up at exactly the same amount. And we see that that is at, oh, it's not exactly right. So it's at 633 1/3 cups of coffee. So between this, at 633, you're still a little bit better off to be selling the $2 cups and having bought $100. And at 634, that's where it switches over, right? And that's where this blue line, the $5 lattes, is going to be more. So that'll be part 1 of using GeoGebra, and then we'll look at the other situation in a second video.